Honister Slate Mine, the setting for today's hike and the start of today's route. A remote location steeped in history as the last working slate mine in England. Westmoreland green slate has been quarried here since the early 18th century, but evidence of the slate being moved and used dates back to the times of Roman occupancy, as evidenced in the slate found at Hardknott Fort. The earliest quarrymen would walk half a day from Keswick, and they'd sleep rough in the mountains for 1 to 2 weeks at a time to work the quarry until their supplies ran out. By the late 19th century, the workforce was over 100 men strong. The mine has changed hands and experienced temporary closures over the years, but it still operates today, whilst the site also doubles up as an outdoor adventure centre now. Today though, I was out on a mission to bag a couple more Wainwrights and to roam the land that the quarrymen would have worked, lived and slept on, and gain a small insight into the past. As you will see though, the daylight wasn't on my side. Well, this brings me to today's adventure, as I once again travelled up through Borrowdale, this time ascending the Honister Pass to the Hawes at the slate mine where my route began. Hey there folks, welcome back to the vlog. I'm here at a pretty active Honister Slate mine today, ready to climb Fleetwith Pike just over here. So I'll be climbing to about 2,156 feet, that's about 640 or so metres. Following that I'm then going to drop down over the ridge you see behind me and then up the other side to Haystacks. It's a smaller one, it's about 1,950 feet, but it should be a good day. The conditions are great, I've got blue sky, I've got sun, there's no snow on the tops, and if there is any ice or frost up there I'm prepared for it. So I just need to get on the route, so let's get out there. Fleetwith Pike has been a hotbed for Instagrammers in recent years, chasing that epic shot over Buttermere, and later in this video you'll see why. You'll also see me jump on that bandwagon. The fell's flanked by the Honister Pass to the north and Warnscale Bottom to the south, and is within a comfortable reach of some other epic Wainwrights, most notably Green Gable, Great Gable, Brandreth and Haystacks. Fleetwith Edge is a cliff that runs along the northwest edge of the fell, and an ascent from Gatesgarth involves traversing around it and then reapproaching it from the east. This is the common way up to the summit, where the mountain cuts a spectacular sharp arrowhead-like shape as it rises to a pinnacle with the breathtaking views of the Buttermere Valley beyond it. Knowing that I had limited daylight hours and how time-consuming it is to capture all the content I needed for a vlog, I intentionally opted for the easier route up from Honister Hawes. Starting at 1,167 feet, you're already halfway up the mountain, with a mere 1,000 feet to go. 100 feet below the summit, you also have Black Star, or Honister Crag, and I was aiming to climb this one too, and take in the dramatic views of Honister Pass below. The route up to Fleetwith is fairly simple. From the quarry road I mentioned earlier, you can literally follow it up to Dubbs Quarry, and finish the ascent from there. But I was keen to follow the old tramways, which involve turning off after the second stream on the quarry road. This is marked by a sign for Haystacks and Great Gable. Here you'll find yourself on an arrow-straight track which was once used by man-operated sledges and pack horses to transport the new slate down to Honister due to its steady and gradual incline. The sleepers from the old tracks can still be seen today, and I hope to find a few later on. The tramway's path takes you up to the ruins of Drum House, which is a landmark definitely worth seeing before cutting back across the marshy grassland and meeting the quarry road. Note here how the road runs around to the left of the spoil heap seen here. This is the route I would take on my descent, but for now I followed the faded grassy path seen to the right of that spoil heap, leading up to the summit of Black Star for the dramatic views I mentioned earlier of Honister Pass. Dropping down from the summit cairn, you can then see a simple and gradual path leading up to Fleetwith Pike's summit. And here I'm going to give you a sneaky preview of the glorious views that it has to offer. The descent from Fleetwith is simply a matter of retracing your steps back down my so-called arrowhead, either by following my route up via Honister Crag, or choosing the second path to its right, which brings you down to Dub's Quarry. As long as you keep the giant spoil heap in sight, you can't really go wrong. From Dub's Quarry, you get back on the quarry road that leads up and around the front of the heap before it slowly meanders back down to the slate mine. Keep an eye out for a rusty old hut drowning in the spoil. And now that we know where we're going, let's get out on the trail. And we're on the route. Seems like a pretty straightforward route. Quite a nice road to start off just here. And I'm supposed to pass 2 streams and then make a left. And then I start heading up a little bit. Just following the old quarry road. Somewhere here I'm supposed to follow a path up. I may have missed it. It turned out I was on the wrong path. I'd walked a bit too far. I had to retrace my steps to get back on this stony little path. But I'm on the right route now. So the route that I'm currently on here used to be what's known as the old tramways. A very straight track that just kind of led up to Drumhouse and Dub's Quarry just over the ridge for all the quarrying activity that used to and still goes on in certain places. So there should be evidence around here somewhere along this path. I should be able to find some of the old sleepers that might still be in position, according to Wainwright. Obviously he wrote his books a long time ago, but hopefully I'll see a little bit of history. I'm a nostalgic guy. I do like these insights into the past and just be able to imagine and visualise how people maybe worked, lived, acted decades ago. And obviously this track hasn't been used in a long time, but there is still some quarrying activity just happening along the flank towards Honister Crag over here, and that's a no-go area at the moment. So yeah, it still happens today, but some of these disused little spots are really quite interesting. They've been let go to rack and ruin probably over the years. Drumhouse, I believe, when I get up there, is quite a crumbled ruin, but again, it's just that vision to a former time. Just got to imagine it as it was. Speaking of old railway sleepers, I've found one embedded in the grass and the soil here, rotten for the most part, but just a little bit of evidence of that history that I was just mentioning. And here we have a few more, a couple of obvious ones. There's a little one just embedded in the earth just here. You might be able to pick that out there. But yeah, we have 1 and 2 more there, and probably a little more as I go up. I'm not going to bore you with all of them, but just these little insights into the past, these little features, just to make a walk a little bit more interesting. And Wainwright describes this track as one of the straightest miles and therefore paths in the Lake District. How much truth there is in that now, I don't know, but obviously for a track to transport materials just straight up and straight down, it would have needed to be straight. And I'm coming across so many more of these railway sleepers, so it's cool. And here we have all that remains of the drum house on this straight track that I've taken up. I'm now on the ridge. We can go this way, heads on towards Great Gable. But at this point, we're going to head this way. And that over there is the route to Fleetwith Pike. I'm going to cut across here to where you can see the road. I'm just going to follow it up to the top, really. I particularly wanted to follow the old tramway. There is a slightly easier route up, and that is to just follow the Quarry road. And I think there's a better path that I could have taken. But yeah, this one just seemed a little bit more interesting. There was a little bit of history along the way. I wanted to see the little ruin of Drum House there. And I'm coming across a few areas where water has frozen, where boggy patches have turned to ice. So I've got to be careful I don't break my neck, but I'm okay so far. It's just the cold, really. When I'm flying the drone and using the camera equipment, it's pretty quick for the fingers to start icing up, so the gloves are on and off all the time. Little cross-country traverse completed. Now I'm back on the Quarry road. And this is where I'm going. Look at the size of this spoil heap here. I'm gonna go around the back of that, I think. I'm stood here on a bit of an edge on Honister Crag, a subsidiary summit of Fleetwith Pike. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a very thin road down at the bottom there with cars driving up and down like ants. That's Honister Pass. Might be able to just zoom in a little bit here. Quite a dramatic drop down the edge of this cliff, but a great landmark. Here we have the summit of Honister Crag. Worth doing these little summits on the way to the main ones. They all count. And as always, every cairn needs to be touched. And look at the view now over Buttermere and Crummock Water, and look at this drop. Fantastic. And from the summit of Honister Crag, if we pan up, you can pick out the route and the path snaking its way to Fleetwith Pike summit. So come down from Honister Crag, and now I've just got the final trudge up to Fleetwith Pike behind me. Even though it's so cold, I'm actually really feeling hot with 3 layers. I've just gone with a long sleeve base layer, a standard Polartec fleece and a soft shell. I didn't really think it was overkill, but as soon as you stop, you start to feel the cold again. So it's always worth having too many layers and too little. I may cover layering in another video, so I won't get too much into it. It appears as though I'm here. Someone's on the summit cairn, typically. I'll be that person in a minute, so fair play. We all get our turn. And yeah, time's getting on, that's my only concern. Haystacks, if you look behind me now, is right over here. So I think I'll be coming down in the dark, but I'll get there in the daylight, and I know my way back, so.
so there we have the summit of Fleetwith Pike. You can see why the view down Buttermere is so sought after. But after a few photos myself and some time to take in the views, aware of the fading light, I made haste back to Dubbs Quarry to meet the Quarry Road, intent on getting on the route down to Haystacks to reach the summit before sunset. Well, there's a lot of glare just here, so I'm not sure what you'll be able to see. But looking towards the sunset, you can see Pillar dead centre, with Haystacks just below it. I'll be heading over there shortly. But as I pan around, you can see the sun setting on the right shoulder of Kirkfell. And then in the far background, you can just see Scarfell with its knobbled top. The big dome in the middle here is Great Gable. And then as we head to the left, you have Green Gable, Great End, and then on the far horizon you can see the pointed tip of Bowfell in the distance. Looking west now, with Pillar on your left, you've then got the High Stile Ridge, with High Crag, High Stile and Red Pike. At the end of the valley there you can see Melbrake, before the valley rises up on the right there to Ranadale Knots, with Grassmoor and Wandope in the background, and then Robinson in the foreground here. If you just look through the dip between Robinson and Honister, you can see the knobbled summit of Causey Pike, and even Ullock Pike and Skiddaw are visible right on the far horizon, before this nearer ridge ends in Dalehead.
So I'm just coming off the summit now of Fleetwith Pike. Great little summit with amazing views. Being able to see all the way over to Scarfell Pike and Great Gable. It really is something, and that alone makes it worth coming up here. Not as busy as I thought it was going to be as well. A few people up there that you share the summit with, but I'm now conscious that I'm losing the light, and so I've got to get over to Haystacks if I'm going to keep to my plan. I have a feeling I'll be coming down in the dark, but that's okay. But I wouldn't mind getting over there in the light. Unfortunately, I'm also out of drone batteries, so the cold just saps them so quickly. No drone flights on Haystacks, although I managed to get a few shots of it from Fleetwith Pike.
So my race to the summit of Haystacks had begun as I chased the dying light. You can see here the silver path snaking up to the multiple crags that lead to the summit of Haystacks, and even the several towns that I would meet along the way. Whilst there are far more difficult hikes in Lakeland, it's worth being prepared for a tough little ascent with Haystacks. You can see here the rocky terrain, the crags, and you can expect a lot of undulation, precarious footpaths and the odd bit of scrambling. But nevertheless, the seasoned hiker will get on just fine with the appropriate kit, footwear and knowledge of the route.
Just made it down to Dubbs Quarry. From here, I've got to drop down even further. I'll show you just here. Over here is where I'm going. Below the big summit, just here. That's Haystacks. I've got a long way to go in a short space of time. But if I pan around, you can see my route. A little silver line heading up the other side there. So it's a straightforward route. I've just got to get there, and that's where I'm going, right in the centre of the screen there.
Upon reaching Dubbs Quarry, I would then follow the Quarry Road down into Dubbs Bottom, where I somewhat successfully navigated my way across the stream as my next ascent began. Before I reach the end here, I'd just like once again to say thanks if you've watched this far. It wasn't my intention to go longer than my last vlog, but here I am. If you enjoyed it, please let me know in the comments. Tell me what you liked, and if you're feeling extra kind this new year, please like, share it with like-minded people or people you feel may be interested, and subscribe to see more in the future. I'll be back soon with more exploration and adventure in 2022, and I'm grateful for any support I get. With that said though, let's get back onto Haystacks.
So I'm well on the route up to Haystacks now. Still got a way to go, maybe about half an hour I'm guessing. As you can see, the light is fading. Pretty much resigned myself to finding my way back to the car using the head torch, but it'll be fun. Not what I wanted, but I've taken my time too much at times today probably, and I'm just going to show you the view now across back to Fleetwith Pike where I was earlier, because it's quite a good view. Check it out. Buttermere just peeking out from behind the crag there, and there you have Fleetwith. I've kind of just come over and round this crag just here and wound my way around this crag. It's an interesting fell, this one. Lots of random crags, weaving paths, a couple of tarns, and heading up the staircase just here. I mentioned about the stairs, pretty steep. See the ice as well, can't you? I've avoided it for the most part. I haven't put my yak tracks on yet, but for the way down I might just put them on to give my feet a little more traction. What do we have here? One of the tarns I just mentioned. Lovely, partially frozen. Very interesting summit, this one. Lots of these little features just really make it. And it's no wonder Wainwright held it in such high regard in his books. Sun has gone down over my horizon but hasn't officially set yet, so I've still time. Straight ahead of me over here we have Haystacks summit, so I'm going to get to it.
I knew before my hike that Wainwright considered Haystacks one of his favourites, but what I didn't know was that his ashes are actually scattered here on the shores of Innominate Tarn. Innominate simply means without a name, and in his memoirs Wainwright jokes of fellow walkers getting a little bit of grit in their shoe, saying that they should treat it with respect, as it may well be him. Ever the sardonic humour. With Innominate Tarn behind me, I continued with my final push to the summit. En route, I passed another couple of tarns with a fantastic vista over Great Gable. I'm loving every minute up here. It's rare that I'm this high up when the sun goes down, the colours in the sky, the clouds. Just below the summit now, and I've discovered another little viewpoint. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that to be Loweswater in the distance there. Rumour has it that if you dunk a pint glass into the lake and hold it up to the sun, you have your very own pint of Loweswater gold. I'll just take you in for a closer look down the valley. What a view. This seems about as remote as you can get, and right now I've got it all to myself. Here's High Crag again on the right of your screen. And I believe that I'm ascending here to a double summit. Haystacks has a very craggy top, so let's see what I can see when I reach the top here. Almost there.
So it appears there are several potential summits here. I initially thought this one over here, you might be able to just make it out in the middle of the screen, just right here in front of me. I think that's the summit. I have found a fence post. I mean, it's a cool fence post. It's a fence post with a view, to be fair. There's also, if I pan left, a little cairn over here. Again, if you follow my finger, just right there. I think that looks the higher of the two. There is another little cairn just here. That's definitely not the highest though. It's the one to my right that you've just seen, or this one. But I have consulted Wainwright's book, and he says that the northernmost one, which is this one, is generally regarded as the summit, the true summit. So that's the one that we're going to go visit. Let's do it. So, Buttermere and Curragh Quarter, High Style Ridge on the left. Just panning round. It's not actually on the horizon, but Fleetwith Pike is just here now. And you can see that I walked into that valley there, up and around these two crags, around a couple of tarns. I wish I had more time up here, I really do. Back round to Great Gable there. Great hike, this one. If you're fit enough, I recommend it. So, this is Haystacks summit, and it is a very good summit. I wish I could have had more time here. You can see the sun setting in the distance over here. Not the greatest of sunsets, but I am now really losing the light. I've probably got about half an hour left, and I'm going to head down, so you've perhaps not got the usual montage of scenes that I would provide on reaching a summit. The drone batteries have gone, and I've just not got time to do the whole filming. My focus needs to be on getting back over there to Honister. For now, I'm going to head back down, so I'll catch you guys in a bit. I don't know if you can see me too well or not now. The head torch beaming, but I am just coming back down into the dip where I crossed the stepping stones earlier, and I've pretty much marched it down from Haystacks, obviously to make the most of the remaining daylight, which is now pretty much gone. And to be fair, I've just got to get up this slope and then I'm back on the Quarry road, so it'll be a pretty straightforward walk back, even if I am in the dark. I've got the worst terrain out of the way. But kind of fun. I've not done a lot of night hiking before, so something I've wanted to do, which is why I've geared up for it really today. So once I cross the stream with the stepping stones, I then had quite an ascent on my hands to get back up to Dub's Quarry, which was difficult because I am flagging a little bit now at the end of the day. Head torch has gone down a tree,
And once I got back to Dubs Quarry, it was pretty much just about following the quarry road all the way back to my car. I can see my car, it's just here now. But quite a straightforward walk once you're on that quarry road. And you can take the quarry road from Honister Slate line all the way to Dubs Quarry and then go up Fleetwith Pike from there. I just wanted to see the old tramways at the beginning of my walk today. But yeah, you've got a few little ways up there. But Haystacks is really taking it out of me. Especially doing it a bit quicker than I probably planned to, just because of the loss of the light. But I've never been so glad to see my car. And I'm starving. And I'm looking forward to some food.
Thank you so much for watching this vlog, all of you. I'm gutted I couldn't just capture more content on Haystacks Summit with the drone. It could have been epic, it could have made the vlog ending so much stronger. But I've learned lessons in making it, and that's the main thing for me, to get better as a videographer and to get better as an editor. And I just look on to the next one, and I hope you'll join me. And until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you out there.